This lady is never afraid to say what's on her mind. Rolling Stone called her one of the 50th best stand-up comedians of all time. She's at Helium Comedy Club here in Philly tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday. Give it up for the funny, the fabulous, and fantastic Margaret Cho.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Pop the Question,
I love
Margaret.
love your shirt.
I had it made just for you, darling.
I love it. Thank you.
So like I said, you're doing 3 days here at Helium.
Mhm.
You've been to Philly many times.
Yeah.
Is there something here in Philly that you've never done that you want to do?
Gosh.
Art museum, the zoo.
I've done a lot of great things. I think my favorite thing is the Mutter Museum, which is always super fun, and they're so gracious over there, and they let me go back behind all the exhibits.
Behind the scenes.
I get to see all the stuff that goes on there. But yeah, I have to think of something I haven't done here. I've done quite a lot of things here. So
Geno's.
yes, so good. I'd like to go there again.
I know Gino, so I'll put in a good
Okay,
word
please,
for you,
thank you.
Margaret.
That would be great.
I thought you were fabulous on The Masked Singer.
Oh, thank you.
Did you enjoy that experience?
I did. It's a very popular show in South Korea, and so it's kind of like this funny thing that what a weird concept, and really people got into it. I don't know how they're going to keep the secret of who's the singer now, because it was such a popular show. When we did it, nobody knew what it was.
Right.
So we kind of, we still had very high security, and nobody could see us anyway. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they're going to do with the filming now.
Right.
But it's cool.
And I didn't guess it was you.
Oh, that's good.
No, not at all.
That's good.
Last week you attended the reunion for All American Girl.
Yeah.
How did that go? Was it great getting back together with the
Yeah,
cast?
we love each other, and we had such a great time. It wasn't everybody. It was just the grandma, the dad. So it was Amy and Clyde and JB Kwan, who was my little brother on the show. So it would have been great to have Jody, my mom, and BD, my brother, and of course Judy and Maddie. It would be great to see everybody, but they're all in New York, so we were doing it in LA. But it was it was nice, and I can't believe it's been 25 years.
I know, really.
Yeah,
we're not that old.
We had such a we were like, oh my God, we can't believe it's been so long. But I could tell because everybody had the 90s bob, all the men had that sort of Madonna Cherish hair.
Right.
So it was very 90s.
Now I know you love fashion.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the Met Gala the camp theme of the
I
Met
don't think
Gala?
people really understood what camp was, and I was shocked that John Waters wasn't there. He's sort of
the king of camp, right?
What I would have done is I would have gone with somebody dressed as a poodle, and I would be divine, and I would have the poodle poo, and I would eat it. I thought that was going to happen, and it never. It's like when you try to task people in fashion with humor, that's really where they don't really. Of course, people are fabulous, but it wasn't the point. We wanted to see something. Camp is. It's hard to define, but you know what it is when you see it. It's like irony. You know what it is when you see it, but it's very hard to actually put your finger. But everybody sort of thought feathers, which is kind of it.
Yeah.
But what we should have seen was Waylon Flowers and Madam. We should have seen maybe more outfits that would have looked right on Designing Women, or any kind of bedazzled anything. Not. I thought there would be more of a bedazzling thing, but yeah, people went with feathers, which I think is okay. It's the spirit of it, but we needed because I just done a thing with Joanne Worley, and so it was would have been perfect to see people in the Joanne Worley, or any sort of the laugh-in kind of.
You did the laugh-in thing
this
past week, right?
Yes, so that would have actually they should have taken a lot of fashion cues from the old laugh-in. Which is delightfully camp.
Right, exactly. Now, I got some fan questions before you got here. So, from Karen F., she wants to know, what do you do in your spare time when you're not working?
Well, I have a dog, and so there's a lot of playing with her, and little, training. And
speaking of that, what is her full name?
Her full name is Lucia Katerina Lawler Stocher. And Lawler is for my best friend who died in January. So actually today's her birthday. She would have been 50 today. But she's named after her, and also my partner's last name and my last name, and then Katerina's just because it was
Cute.
fancy, and his mother. So and Lucia is just she's a bright light, you know. She's a bright light in our life. She's just a very special dog.
And she's adorable. We just met her.
She's the best.
Fabulous. Erica R wants to know how many tattoos you have.
I have something around 80. Around 80 or 81. It's hard to know where some end and some begin, but if you sort of broke them all down in separate pieces, probably 80.
Frankie H, who are your favorite comedians?
Oh, I like, well, I love Joan Rivers. I love all of the laugh-in people. Joan Worley, of course, Ruth Buzzy, the amazing Lily Tomlin. I love Tig Notaro, Wanda Sykes, Sarah Silverman. I love Ali Wong, Bobby Lee, Aquafina, who is an amazing comedian and actress, of course, and musician. I have a lot of people that I love.
There you go. Now, I know your mom has an interesting take on the gays. What is her take on gay marriage? What does she say about that?
Oh, well, I mean, she thinks it's really, they should get married because they're already together, so they have to be married. You know, that's just nice. They like to have a party. So it's a perfect occasion for a party.
Now, I'm a gay man, so I feel I can say this to you. Okay. Now, recently you started talking about your age and getting older and your nether regions.
It's all falling down.
So, what's going on with that?
It's all falling down. I mean, menopause is a gateway drug because a lot of stuff happens that are just like so trippy and weird. It's very weird, and it's really good, but it's not very glamorous how the gravity just sort of takes all of the structure out of everything. But it's also really fun too to kind of watch it all fall down.
Now, you once said that you felt like you were a safe haven for like the outcast and all that and everything.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Well, when I started doing comedy, this is like in the 80s in San Francisco. It was always very weird to go to a comedy club because you couldn't really go if you were like, because it was always okay to make fun of gay people. It was always okay to make fun of Asian people. So you always felt like really weird going.
Right.
You felt like sort of a target. You didn't want to go and you didn't feel safe. And I never felt safe in like those comedy shows. So when I was doing shows, I wanted to make it sort of a place where people wouldn't feel like they would be attacked. Like nobody would be afraid to sit in the front because they would get attacked or whatever. And so I never like, you know, I don't believe in that kind of comedy for myself. So I always enjoyed it that everybody could sort of like breathe a sigh of relief when they came to see my shows.
Nice. You talk about Joan Rivers. She's a mentor of yours. What was it like to just be around her and just be present with her?
She was just, in so many ways, she actually wasn't what you think she was. In many ways, she was quite shy and quite fearful. You could never see her before a show because she didn't want to talk to you. She was so nervous, and that was always strange to me because she was so incredibly brave and brazen even, like just fearless on stage, but she really wasn't that. And after the show, she was very relaxed. You know, she could just wind down and have a good time. But before, she would get very tense and you know, be looking over her stuff and like wanting to do well. And it was such a funny thing. Like I remember that was the last time I saw her was I think when she was it was at Kennedy Center and we were honoring George Carlin, and it was all of the guys that sort of made her a little bit crazy. Like she just wanted to do better than them, so she wouldn't let anybody in her dressing room, and she let me in, and she was just like, you know, like worried. And you would never imagine that somebody like that would ever have stage fright or be insecure, but there was so much of her that really we didn't know. So I was able to see that part. But then of course the other side of her, she just knew everything, you know, and she'd been through everything, so she could really advise you on so much. And you know, it's so strange to have now 5 years since she's been gone, and it's a very I still think, like, you know, I really miss her presence, especially in the era we're in now. She would have so much to say, certainly about what's going on politically, and certainly with all of this crazy abortion stuff just this week. So I think she would be a really strong voice for us. So I miss her in that way very much. I miss her in every way.
We all do, even if we didn't know her.
Yeah.
How many Pride festivals do you think you've performed at? Could you count the number?
I've been I've attended since 1978. So I started performing at them probably around 1990. Quite a few, and all over the world, all the way down to Sydney, Australia for this very, very, very big gay pride, which is pretty impressive. But San Francisco is always very impressive too, as is Philly, as is New York, as is San Francisco and LA.
And they've grown so much.
So much, and it always means so much. And this year is especially important because it's the 50th anniversary of Stonewall.
Yes.
So this is a real milestone in how far we've come. And I've been at quite a lot of them, but a witness to them since 1978.
Now, are you doing New York's?
Yes.
Sure? Yes. Of course you are. All right. On my show, we have this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Which One?
Mm-hmm.
I give you two things, and you have to pick one out of those two things.
Okay.
Okay? Margaret Cho, are you ready to play Which One?
I'm ready to play Which One?
Puppy snuggles or human snuggles?
Oh, it's hard. I think it's gonna be a puppy snuggles.
Go-go's or bangles?
Go-go's.
Lipstick lesbian or softball dyke?
Softball dyke.
You better work or sachet you stay?
You better work.
Purple rain or raspberry beret?
Oh, Purple Rain.
And you love music.
Yes.
You love music.
Yes.
When I say the Go-Go's,
yes.
What does that mean to you?
Well, it's got a lot of meaning. It was the first concert that I ever went to in 1983 at the Greek Theater in Berkeley. It was the Vacation Tour, and it was a very, very big deal. And it's somebody, they're people that I go see often, and I've worked with Jane. I've just admired them for so long, and they're just amazing. And separately and together, they're the best.
You know who I once got to interview? Chrissy Hine.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
It's the hardest interview I ever did.
I would be scared of her. I think she's scary. I would be scared. I would be like, I'm not going to say the right thing, because she's not afraid to tell you if you don't say the right thing. She's so cool and beautiful, and her voice, everything. I think I would be really intimidated by her, or Stevie Nicks. I would freak out.
Yes. So speaking of music, what's the music that gets you pumped up and ready for something?
Gosh, I think. I'm kind of all over the place.
I love Prince.
I love
Prince.
Yes, I love Prince. I mean, Prince is I could go into a serious Wendy and Lisa situation.
Is the water warm enough?
Yeah, it's such a great. I mean, I love all of their stuff. I mean, all of the Prince proteges. You can really go deep in sort of a Prince fan. All of his proteges, everybody that he was producing, everybody was writing for him, like Sheena Easton and Sheila E. and everybody. It's powerful. I love all of that. I think I can get really deep into country, sort of go into a Bobby Gentry thing. I get really obsessive about certain artists and Dusty Springfield, the voices, and I love all of that really old country, and I love Harry Nilsson, and I love the songwriters of the 60s and 70s. I think that they had so many things to work from, because they were coming from very old-fashioned songwriting in the Brill Building, but then also being on a lot of drugs. So it was really kind of coloring their view of what was music and what was happening. So I like 60s and 70s because it's one foot in the old and one foot in the new, where you're using all of these old techniques, but you're high. Right, so you're doing something very strange. And I really appreciate Prince because of the fact that he was playing every instrument.
Yeah.
And producing.
Amazing.
So that the artists that do that really are really special. There's quite a few people that do that, and I love them.
Well, Margaret, thank you so much for joining me here on Pop the Question.
You.
Guys, come out to Helium Comedy Club here in Philly tonight, tomorrow night and Saturday night. You have one show tonight at 8, 2 shows tomorrow
and Saturday. And Rocco Stowe, my boyfriend, is opening. He's really funny too, and he's a Philly native. So
yes, he is.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining me here on Pop the Question.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling.